Yay! All right, make sure that you're muted. Okay, this is going to be so much fun. So, Mira, do you want to start off with just your story? Talk about what you were doing before it works and what it's done for you since you joined.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm a presidential diamond. I live in Yarmouth, Maine, which is right outside of Portland. And I've been in since March 2015. And I'm 42 years old, so in my 40s. So when I started with It Works, I was in like kind of the healthcare corporate ladder. I was a vice president at a $2 billion health system. And, if you looked at like my Facebook, I was kind of the classic, everything looked perfect on Facebook, had my 1-year-old, and we had bought this really big expensive house and everything looked great. You would have assumed everything was perfect, but my then husband, his business had been failing for many years by 2015. And so we had been robbing Peter to pay Paul. We had built basically a 2-income lifestyle, assuming everything was going to be great, and really ended up being on my income only. And not only that, but my income was going to help the business sometimes. So it was really, really tight. And I honestly had no vision of what would help me. So I was just in tremendous stress mode. And so, I went to law school. I had all these serious check marks that if you looked at it, you would have said, no way would she be doing network marketing. But I had watched a girlfriend that lived, I don't know, a couple minutes down the road from me for about a year. And she hit double diamond around her year mark, and earned a $30,000 good bonus. And I remember sitting at work just after years of like basically PTSD level stress over money, and then she'd earned a $30,000 double good bonus. And I didn't know a single thing about it. It was completely out of my character, but something just told me, like, text her, call her, sign up. I tried the greens like twice. I knew almost nothing about anything. I obviously knew nothing about direct sales, but I signed up. And one of the things I'll say is, you might think that somebody who's looks on paper like a high achiever is not going to be good at this business because they're going to be, I don't know, snobby or whatever. But first of all, that's not my character. But the biggest thing is high achievers are used to achieving in everything that they do. So if you said, oh, well, Mira went to Harvard, there's no way she would do this, or Mira went to Georgetown Law, but you know what, guys, when I started, I knew nothing, but I never have said yes to something in my life that I really meant to say yes to and not been successful. I mean, just out of like sheer tenacity and hard work. And so look at your high achievers in your life. They may be intimidating, but those are the people that can actually come in with a lot of confidence, determination. So within 4 weeks, I had earned the Ruby $1,000 bonus. And that kind of, again, I was 38 then. That kind of just like kicked off my belief that this could change our life. That plugged the budget gap. I had diamond in 4 months and double in 12, and each of those had a bonus. So the diamond had the 10,000 and double had the 30,000 back then. So that really, basically hitting double at 12 months, that sealed the deal in terms of our finances. And the next 2 years, I'd go off to pay a bunch of debt down. I would go through a divorce and become a single mom, and really sort of had the business so as a great foundation to like pay off debt and clean everything up. Come into post-divorce, September 2017, just something happened to me. We can talk about mindset on this later. And when I walked out of that courtroom with the divorce, 2 weeks later, we had our first One Team, One Mission ever in Portland, Maine, run by Mary Beth Dodd. I was a double at the time, paid as diamond. And the combination of those things and Mary Beth pouring some juice into me, basically calling all my red buttons, got me running. I just all these self-limiting beliefs that I had myself that I would never. I remember, Morgan, I don't know if you've ever heard me say this, but I would say things to like Cami or the FDRs, like, I'll never hit 30,000 group volume. Like, I'll never have 30,000 GB. I'm sure they were rolling their eyes in the back of the head, because who says that? But like, it's never going to happen. I'd had a double for 2 years. So, I basically threw that out. I completely redid mindset, completely redid the way I work on personal development. We'll talk about that later. And got running, and within 6 months was triple, and within another 6 months was press. And I actually built my dad all the way from basically a Ruby to triple in that time frame as well. And then that allowed me to basically completely redo my life. I retired in June from, like, at that point, an 18-year career, and I've been doing this full time since. So it's been amazing, because I've been able to eliminate over $200,000 of debt. For anybody who's in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, we just accumulate these big life things. And that's huge. And my house, was almost in foreclosure, and now it's basically worth hundreds of thousands of dollars of equity that I have in it. So it's just been an unbelievable journey. And I think about that years and years and years of huge stress over money. And now literally every day I wake up in peace. It's just such a blessing. So that's just a little bit of, obviously there's a lot more to that. That's a little bit of my story, Morgan.
I love that. And I love how you ended that by just saying, like, I used to, like, go to sleep or wake up with, like, all this stress, and now you wake up and you don't have that anymore. That is something that so many of us, I think, can relate to, because whether you have debt or not, like, even if you're completely debt free, like, a lot of people still live paycheck to paycheck. I know Sherilyn Alcala always talks about, she's a top income earner, if you don't know who she is, but she always talks about and says, me and my husband, before this business, we were not in debt. They were debt free, but they were still living paycheck to paycheck and couldn't put their daughter in dance. So I think even debt or no debt, which most of us do have debt, we can relate to that feeling of just, like, wanting to not wake up feeling stressed about money first thing whenever we open our eyes. And so I love that. That's what this business can do for you. So do you want me to share my story?
That would be awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I'm Morgan, and my story started about the same time as her. I joined in October 2014, so about 6 months before Mira. And I was a broke college student. I was living paycheck to paycheck, actually less than paycheck to paycheck, because I had to use credit cards to make ends meet. And that's how I paid for, gas and groceries and all of that stuff. And I would max out a credit card, then open up another one, and then max it out. And I was making minimum payments. There was no way I could afford anything extra. And I was already working a full-time job and a part-time job. I couldn't work any more hours because I was already going to school full-time. And I woke up and did it all over again the next day. And it sucked. So I found this business on Instagram. A girl was posting about the wraps. I didn't believe that they really worked. I tried them as a customer first, pretty much to prove them wrong, but I just had gained a lot of weight, and I wanted to see something that really worked, because at the time I was diagnosed with a heart condition. I wasn't allowed to work out per my doctor's orders. So I was like, okay, well, I want to try the wraps. Maybe they'll work. And they did, which I was super surprised. And so I started telling all my friends about it. I had never heard about It Works. Like, didn't know what network marketing was. My mom had done Mary Kay before, but I had never heard it called network marketing. I never heard it called that term, didn't know what that meant. But I used the wraps, told my friends about it, and then I looked on that girl's Instagram that sold me the wraps, and it said that she was an emerald with It Works. And so I was like, well, what's that? And I go and, my red money-driven personality, I go and Google, how much does an It Works emerald make? And it was the same as what I made full-time as a nanny, working 40 hours a week, watching 3 kids. And I was like, man, like, if I could do that for my phone, that would be awesome, because then I could make some extra money for gas and groceries. And looking at that and seeing that she was making $1,200 a month, $1,400 a month, I never looked at that and thought, oh, I could do that too. I looked at that and said, okay, if she can make $1,200 a month, I could make $100. And that's what I joined for. I never thought I'd be good at this. I thought I was too busy. I thought I didn't know enough people. I had just moved across the country from Mississippi to Michigan, where I still live. And I had every reason not to do this. But instead of looking at those as excuses why I couldn't, I had looked at those as reasons why I needed to. I looked at those as reasons like, okay, well, I don't know anybody in the area. This is a great way for me to meet people, and like, I don't know who I'm going to talk to. And like, I haven't talked to these people in forever, so I'm going to reconnect with them. And that's what I was able to do. And in 2 months, I promoted to executive. And that was in December of 2014. 2 months after that, I promoted to Ruby, and I was making at that point a really high Ruby check and was making over $500 a month, and that was not including my bonuses, and I was so excited. And then I kind of got lost, and I started doing the comparison thing and started looking left and looking right and looking at all these people who joined the same time as me or even after I did, and saw them go diamond, and I saw them hitting all these bonuses that they had put out that I said that I was going to hit that I didn't. I missed it. And I looked at them and I started to compare myself so much so that I almost quit. And I was like, well, if they're joining the same time as me, but they're already a diamond, maybe I should just quit. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this isn't what I should be doing. But now looking back, I would kind of want to flick 2015 Morgan in the face and just say, like, you joined for $100 a month, you're making $500 and you're complaining about it. So while we should always be dreaming bigger, we have to remember where we came from. And I never joined this business to beat somebody to the next rank. I never joined this business to make more money than so-and-so or to be a top income earner. And all those things are great, but that's not why you joined. And I lost sight of that. So almost quit, but I didn't. I earned a free cruise to Mexico. My first time to Mexico. So excited. Found my fire on that event. Talked to people that had like minds as me and had, encouraged me and poured into me. Came back 2 months later while working 9 a.m. to midnight, 5 days a week, and going to school the other 2 days. I promoted from Ruby to Emerald to Diamond in the same day, earned $22,000 in bonuses, quit my jobs, was able to never clock into a job since then. That was March of 2016, right? Wait, yes. March 2016. So I haven't worked a day since then from like an actual job, and it was amazing. And then I sat at Diamond for a year, learned a lot about leadership, and went to my first conference that next February. Finally found belief in myself, and the next month I promoted to double. 2 months after that, I went triple, and then I sat at triple for a while and just continued to build my team, work hard. And I actually didn't really compare myself that much. I actually got engaged, got married, and continued to work through all of that. Didn't let those things stop me like a lot of people I feel like do. And then went presidential in October, and now we're about to go ambassador next month. So I'm just claiming that. But yeah, we have a long way to go, but we're gonna get there. I'm excited. So that's my story, and because of it works, we have been able to pay cash for our wedding, cash for our honeymoon, pay off $20,000 in debt. I always joke that I paid off my groceries from 4 years ago because that was on my credit cards. And so, yeah, we are able to, like she said, wake up and not have to worry about money. We're able to go to the grocery store and buy what we need and what we want without having to check the bank account. We're able to give more than we used to make in a month. And so it's just really, really cool what we've been able to accomplish. Now we're buying our dream home. We're building that, and they're starting that process this month. So we're super excited, and it's only going to go up from here. So now we want to kind of show you how to do what we've done, because that's the beauty of this business, is not only getting to change your own life, but showing other people how to do that too. And so we just want to pour into y'all. So if you don't have a piece of paper and like a pen, go ahead and grab that. I know some people, this is maxed out. I tried to see if I could upgrade this to 300, but I couldn't. So it was like astronomical. It was like $99 a month. I was like, oh, what?
Forget it. It's not.
Like, that's not going to happen. So if anybody wants to go live on our team page, then feel free to do that. Just kind of like, just hold your phone up and go live on our team page. So if anybody is missing this that's trying to hop on, they can go ahead and see that there. You can maybe just type in the chat if you're willing to do that. That way we're not having multiple people do it, but we know that somebody is. And so grab a piece of paper. And first of all, we're going to talk about the conference announcements. So if you weren't at conference, Mira, do you want to talk a little bit about what they announced, just a couple of the things, and we'll kind of dive in and help them?
Yeah, absolutely. So the conference announcements were insane. I mean, this is my third conference, and I watched another one virtually, and it was definitely the biggest number of huge announcements I've ever seen at conference. They're really like truly game-changing, business-changing announcements. So the first thing was, of course, the 3 new product announcements. Chocolate greens on the go, which is really exciting and something that's going to be super popular. What I'm really excited about is salted caramel keto coffee in K-cups. That has already been super hot, and just again, that gives people options for keto coffee, which is only going to mean they're probably going to buy both, which is fantastic. And then of course Hydrate, which is our new electrolyte powder. And that's great because we really didn't have something like that. That was just a straightforward electrolyte substitute. And it's kind of a no-brainer. Again, I am in a demographic with a lot of moms with teenagers that have, you know, they're getting it for their teenagers, themselves, their significant others. So that's really, really cool. So I think that the announcements honestly were so intense, Morgan. We haven't totally even played out those 3 new products. I know on our team, we're so focused right now on DTs, but I think we just will unpack those product announcements and bring in a lot more volume as well. So other announcements, business-wise, we got the new charts. Very, very much like I know we'll talk about strategy, but I just could not be happier about them. So before, as you guys know, for Emerald and above, so all the way up to Ambassador, you had to have 4 or 5 legs. Now everything is 3 legs. It's very concentrated, and there is lower volume requirements that are more flexible about which box you're in. So you have less boxes, and you have more flexibility about where your volume is under the new charts. And this is huge. This is huge for making money, because before we had to be so freaking technical about which box we were putting LCs in, and you'd have like 6 or 7 potentially extra ones depending on what chart you'll get. Sometimes you know, Morgan and I are going for Ambassador. It's more than 200 less boxes. You know, like that's crazy. So what it does is when you guys are placing LCs or even DTs, you can think much more about what's going to increase my paycheck. I was given an example on my team page earlier, my team Zoom earlier, that, you know, for example, you don't have to sacrifice a fast start to fill a dead 400 box, because the volume can be everywhere. You can usually get your fast start and it's going to actually advance your promotion goals. Let's say for Ruby, it's going to advance your march to the 2000 level. So that's huge, the new charting. We have the $20 kits, coupons that we got. Everybody in the company pretty much got 7. And then people that attend the conference are getting another 7. So that's enormous. Obviously, we're all signing distributors like crazy right now. And then we have the new rank up bonuses, which are, the numbers are actually a little higher at the diamond and double diamond levels. So that's enormous. And the guarantee was extended for Ruby and Emerald, new Ruby and Emeralds that join our teams right now. Or new distributors that join our teams right now and go Ruby and Emerald in the 3 or 4 months. So we've got everything from all these new products, which again, I don't think we've even like touched the strategy on that, because we've been so focused on the business building side of it. The coupon codes, the bonuses, the new charts, and new countries. I forgot to mention that, Mexico and Philippines, that we have, I'm sure you guys do too. We already have people signing people there. That we're waiting in the wings and trying to, again, maximize the strategy around that. So I don't know, Morgan, did I forget anything?
Oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. I'm so excited. I think you covered everything. And yeah, like I'm super excited about the Hydrate, because it's funny, I was literally talking about that the other day. So like I work out a lot and I play soccer too, like on a rec league. It's not actually a big deal, but I do that. So like the other day I was saying that I was like really lightheaded or something. I was like, I feel like I just need electrolytes, but I don't want a Gatorade because I do like no sugar. So I'm like, I want a Gatorade. I don't want a vitamin water. And even if you do the 0, it still has all those additives in there. And I'm like, that's not the best option. Like, and so, you know, I drink the Essentia waters and stuff, but I'm like, I want something that tastes like a Gatorade. So we have the Hydrate now. So I'm super excited for that. So these products are awesome. They're literally, guys, setting us up for the biggest year we've ever had, like ever. So now we want to kind of talk about, okay, we have these new charts. What does that mean? What does that look like? What's the best way to help your team grow their business? So I'm going to actually screen share with you. I pulled up the brand new Ruby if you haven't seen it. So now you can look at this. So can everybody see my screen, and can you see my mouse? Give me some thumbs up if you can see my mouse, my cursor. Yeah, you can see my cursor too?
Yeah, we can see everything. Yep.
Okay, cool. So if you're looking at this Ruby chart, you have 3 qualified legs, and it used to be like 2 underneath one of these as well, but now you don't have that. So what I am recommending people do, because so to promote for Ruby, you need 3 qualified legs, which just means each of these at 400 in group volume. But you also need 2,000 total group volume to promote as well. So here's what I'm recommending everybody to do. Fill in this box with the distributor, this box, and this box. Once you've done that, I want you to put a distributor under this leg, a distributor under this leg, and a distributor under this leg. So then now what happens? Number one, you get everybody to 400. That's your 2,000 like that. You have the volume to follow your promotion. And now your next rank is Emerald. And now for Emerald, you only need this person here to have 2 more and this person here to have 2 more, and you're boxed in for Emerald. Right? So that's going to help you by stacking those distributors that way. Not only builds a strong Ruby, but starts boxing you in for Emerald as well. Let me see if I can find an Emerald chart. One second. And then I'm also going to show you the new kits, because they came out with new kits where you have options of what to add. So I'll show you that in a second. So do you see what I mean now? So if you cover up this part right down here, this is a Ruby, just these 3 boxes. But you put, you put a distributor in these 3 boxes, then you put one under here. So now you only need these 2 left to go Emerald. You have this box here, you put one underneath that. You only need these 2 to go Emerald, and boom, you're done. So that makes it so, so simple. Not only do you have the volume for Ruby, but you've got an Emerald to go. Okay, so that's what I wanted to talk about with charting. And obviously, you've got to fill the volume. So for those of you who are, really you're trying to get yourself boxed in for a promotion, here's what I would recommend for you to not do. What I've done in the past is, especially whenever I was going from double to triple, right? Because I went double in March and I went triple in May. So right back to back. So what my goal was, okay, I promoted in March. I was like, let's get boxed in for a triple in April. And then we'll work on the volume all of May, because we needed like 63 or 67 distributors, something kind of crazy. So I was like, if we can work on that this month, let's do the other part the next. So here's, I'll answer the questions that are coming in the chat. Y'all feel free to ask your questions. I'll come back to them because I'm super ADD, so I got to stay focused. But I see your questions. I'll come back. So what I did, though, was the whole month of April trying to get these distributors, I only posted about the business. Like, posted my story, my, Instagram stories were about that. I don't think we had those back then, but you know what I mean? Like, everything revolved around the business and sharing my story and getting distributors. Well, then come May, I was like, great, now I need a lot of customers. And I just kept signing distributors. Why? Because that's the seeds that I had planted the month before. We know by now that our business is a month to 3 months behind our efforts. People that you talked to a month or 3 months ago are going to start signing now. So what you should not do is just focus on the business. If you've noticed, I posted about hair, skin, and nails today. I'm going to post about weight loss. I did that on my Insta story. So you got to make sure you're still posting about the products, because you've got to have both. When it comes time to get that promotion, you got to have the volume too. So make sure you're focusing on both. Somebody asked how much GV for an Emerald. So to promote, you need 5,000 in group volume to promote, and that's with everybody being at 400 plus 5,000 group volume somehow. And then to maintain, it's a different volume. It's the 8,000. So you can find all this in your document library too. If you get confused or forget and need to go back, it's all there in your eSuite under document library, and you can just kind of search some keywords to find it. So, but yeah, so that's what I would recommend for charting. And then for distributors, when you are enrolling them, you are going to be able to let them pick what comes in their kit. If they ask, hey, what do I get with this $20, or what do I get with this $99? They get to pick whatever they want. So this is one option. It's a sampler. And see how it says included? So all of this is included, whichever one they want. Or they could get, 2 bags of keto coffee. Or they could get what they normally used to come with is the Ultimate Body Applicator and 4 tubes of defining gel. Totally fine too. Or they could get the 1 bag of collagen, which is 15 packs, and then a bottle of hair, skin, and nails. So kind of depending on what their goal is, I would definitely recommend that I want to try it sampler, just because it has a little bit of all of it in there. But if they're like somebody who's like, I really, really want to try the keto coffee, you can almost, even say, hey, Normally, 2 bags of keto coffee is $78, but you could get that for $20 if you sign up as a distributor. And now, just kind of keep in mind, by doing that, you want to make sure that the, quality of your distributors are people that really want to work. And by doing that, maybe sometimes they're not going to be as motivated to work, but you can get them in the system and maybe show them what we have to offer as far as bonuses go. And that would really help them get excited and really want to work. And they weren't actually planning on doing that, but now they are, and they're a rock star. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about for conference announcements, all that stuff. Do you have anything to add before we move on to mindset?
Sorry, I muted myself. Not really. I mean, the only thing I'd add is like the energy is insane right now. And, I've been in the company, for 4 years. I've never seen anything like it. And all of these announcements, they're tools, but like the energy and the excitement is so high. You guys want to just wrap yourself up in that and push it out to the world, because that's how it's going to really move the mountains to get where you want to go.
Yeah.
Which is a good transition to mindset, actually. I didn't even mean that, but.
Perfect. Do you want to go ahead and kick us off with that?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, so for me, I had a couple of huge, like, aha moments on mindset in the last 18 months. So like I was talking about a little bit earlier, around September 2017, a lot of things changed for me. My divorce went final, and that kind of lifted a lot of toxicity off of me. I became a single mom, so that kind of really crystallized my why a little bit sharper. And what I saw was, after 2.5 years in the business at that point, I'd been able to take care and stabilize my finances, but I was ready, I was prepared, like lots of stuff, toxic stuff had cleaned out, to then think a little bit bigger, dream a little bit bigger, which was to change my life, beyond just living, having the financial nightmare that I was in over. And that kind of was big for me, but I still didn't necessarily believe I could do this, and until I want to just give a shout out for events. So we had the One Team One mission 2 weeks after my divorce went final, after I kind of had this like little shift in my energy. And here I was again, double paid as diamond. But because where I was in Maine, there wasn't a lot of top leaders. I was on stage pretty much the whole time. I had to assume being like a triple diamond. Normally One Team One missions have historically been hosted by triples. I'm not somebody that loves the stage. I'm not gravitating towards it, but it was my team that was a lot in the audience, and I was looked to like it was going to be me. So going through that honestly grew my belief. And so one of the things I say to people all the time is, if you're sitting here as an executive and you want to be an emerald or a diamond, or you're a ruby and you want to go diamond, you got to own and wear the rank that you want to be. For me, it's ended up several times, months before I've hit that rank. And so look at what a triple would do if you're a diamond going for triple. If you're looking to go diamond, what would a diamond leader do? You can't sit at a ruby mindset and activity level if you want to go diamond. And so push yourself, grow yourself in leadership, start pouring into people, start reading about vision casting and growing in that leadership. So for me, that first event kind of woke up that, yeah, I could totally be on stage. I could be like a triple. There's no reason. Why am I thinking that I can't do that? Why can't I be VIP? And then I went to the Nashville mini boot camp 2 weeks later in September 2017. And I had kind of an aha moment. I was walking across stage. It was after a couple weeks after I had met Mary Beth, our field development regional, and she just looked at me and she triggered all the red. She said, "Mira, I never want you to walk across the stage as a double diamond again." And I was like, okay. And I was literally the 4 weeks before that prepared me for someone to call me out. And I need, Reds, we kind of need somebody to get in our face once in a while. So she did that. And then literally like switch was on, I am going triple. Okay. So that was a big thing that I believed I could even go. I had a conversation with one of my leaders today. The first step is, do you believe you can do it? Okay. Then when you come into a promotion month, you decide, this is the darn month. This is happening this month. And both triple and presidential happened in months where my team and I were maybe 80% ready. 80% ready in terms of volume and DTs and all of that. And to do these huge promotions when you're only 80% ready, it's very hard, you know, so, but I decided, I came into March 2018. I'd been working towards triple. I had, I think, 10 DTs or whatever, tons of volume. I just decided, and we went. And my Prez month was even more intense. I had 15 distributors to go when I started September 1. And I think I had 15,000 group volume that I needed to get. 15,000. Okay, so it was crazy. It was bananas, but I saw a bunch of people promote in August, and I said, I'm going to make this happen. I'm ready to do it. And it just kind of fueled my fire. And so both months that I decided, it happened. Why? Because I decided. I literally had 1,500 BV to get the last day of Prez. I mean, like 1,500 that had to be filled. It was not something I could buy. And it happened. And, you know, that was the last day. I was begging and pleading everybody. So I think those are the two things that are really important. I love that Morgan and I both have these stories where, guys, it's not like in 10 months we were Ambassador Diamond. We both had points in times where we sat, we shifted, maybe your whys changed. You've got to be really working on personal development throughout this, because you'll be surprised by ripping off some of the barriers and some of those limiting beliefs, what you can be capable of believing you can do. And I know for myself, there's times all the time where all of a sudden I'm like, something happens and I'm like, whoa, I really can do the next thing. So be real open and work really hard on personal development. I will tell you that people look at the stuff that, you know, like that I've done or that somebody in VIP has done and think they must just like be super confident. I will tell you, I shouted to the rooftops from September 1, 2018. I was going Prez. I woke up every day in profound fear. Why the heck did I tell people I was going Prez? Because I was like, we were so far away. And I was like so scared about missing it and being embarrassed. But what I would do is I'd wake up in fear. I'd drive my son to preschool. I'd drive back. I'd still be scared. I'd make my keto coffee. I'd go up into my office and I'd work on getting my brain right. And that's different for everybody. For me, I put on, you're going to laugh because I'm 42, but I put on house dance music and dance around my office for about 5 minutes. And then, and then I have affirmations on the wall. I've got a bunch of stuff on my wall in my office. And I really, really believe in affirmations. I look at that every day. So not just that I'm Ambassador Diamond, but I have other things in there that I'm fearless and I will change lives. Those are some of my trigger words are different for other people. I've got on another wall, my goals for 2019 now, and I'll look at them, say them out loud. And that stuff really would calm those fears down. And so then I would get to work. So that's the thing. I was terrified, but I figured out through personal development how to manage that fear and get to work, because action actually takes away fear more than anything. So those are some of the things I wanted to say about mindset, especially around promotions. Morgan, I don't know if you have anything to add or.
I love that you said that you were scared, but you did it anyways, because a lot of people allow that fear to paralyze them, right? So like fear can be a really, really good motivator, or it can paralyze you into like literally not doing anything. And so if you allow it to do that, then you're never going to be able to get anywhere in the business, because you're always going to be afraid, but you work anyways. You don't work, based on what you feel. You work based on what you want. And if you know what you want, then you have to go out and go get that every single day. So I think that that's something that's super important to remember. And then also, like I mentioned before, comparison, like that is the thief of joy. Why would you compare yourself? And I know that in this business, it's so hard whenever you have things like promotions and recognition and people are getting shouted out. And, there's so many people that you can see that are promoting, before you do, or, after you do, or whatever it is. And it can be so easy to compare, but guys, you cannot let that, you can't let yourself go there, because if you do, then it's going to rob you of the real joy that comes from hitting those promotions, because all you're going to think about is, well, I should have hit it a long time ago. And that's robbing yourself of all the hard work that you've put into it, and so that's one thing. And then also, I think just like the things that you tell yourself, it's so the law of attraction, guys, is so real. Like, a lot of you may not know what it is, but if you want to go back and, hear a little bit more about this, you can go to my page, or our team page, and just literally type in and search law of attraction in our team page. And it talks about, it's a live video I did that talks about what that is. The law of attraction is where whatever you put out is what you receive back. Whatever you put into whatever you put out there is what you're going to get more of. So, for example, if you're sitting here telling yourself, like, I suck at signing distributors, oh, I suck at signing customers, you're going to get more of sucking at signing distributors and sucking at signing customers. Like, they're not going to want to come to you. Why? Number one, because you keep telling yourself that. And the things that you tell yourself are what you're going to believe. So you can also use that then to your advantage, because if you continue to say, I am ambassador, I am ambassador, I am Ruby, I am Ruby, I am going diamond, my volume is rising, my paycheck is increasing, you can use that to your advantage, because it works the other way too. If you say all those things about yourself and they're true, they do happen, because whatever you continue to tell yourself and whatever you continue to say will be true. And so, like, there's something in your brain where, like, literally the more that you say it, your brain is like, oh, this must be a fact, because your brain doesn't know the difference between what you say is true and what is actual truth. It just knows that, like, that has to happen. So if it has happened already, or if it hasn't happened yet, your brain has to find a way to make that happen. So if you're saying, I suck at signing distributors, I can't sign distributors, your brain is like, how can we make this true? How can we make that happen? And you never signed a distributor, and you're like, why am I not signing people? It's because you keep saying that you're not. It's because you keep saying that you're not good at this. But if you switch that and you say, I am good at signing distributors, and that doesn't mean because it's true or because you've signed one yet. Maybe you've never signed a distributor, but you say, I am a rock star distributor enroller. I guarantee you they start just flowing in. Just like literally everywhere, y'all. I've signed a record amount of distributors today. I've never signed this many distributors in one day in my business in 4 years. And it's because I told myself that I would. I said, I'm going to sign distributors. I am going to fill these charts. I am going ambassador diamond. And my brain is like, how can we make this happen? And they literally just start pouring in. I can't keep up with everybody. So if you want that to happen in your business, start speaking that over yourself, because it's biblical. There is life and death in the power of the tongue. And if you start speaking death over yourself, there's a lot of power in that. So start speaking life over yourself. So that's like the major thing that just like irks me whenever I hear people say, I'm struggling. I can't sign distributors. I just can't get anybody interested. Nobody wants this. I can't seal the deal. Well, that is exactly why you're struggling. That is exactly because that's what your focus is on. You're giving that attention. Your focus forms your future. So if you want your future to be a struggle, keep focusing on the struggle. But if you want it to be a success, if you want it to be abundant, start focusing on that and watch that situation change when you add work to it. It doesn't just magically happen, but it's whatever you're working towards, because wherever your focus is where you're headed. You steer where you stare. If you're staring at where you want to go, you're going to start steering exactly where you want to go. So don't let your focus be over where you don't want it to be, where you don't want to go, because that's not going to help you. So I think that's like the biggest thing, is just like understanding that you have that power to either be successful in this business or not, right up here. But like the most important part of this business is between your ears. And it's so important to make sure that you're speaking that over yourself. Okay, let's see. I don't remember if there's anything else I wanted to say, but it's not coming to me right now, so we can just move on. Okay, so I was going to talk a little bit about like strategy whenever it comes to promoting. I talked a little bit about, working on distributors, and getting yourself boxed in and then working on the volume. But again, just reiterating that you don't want to only post about distributors or only talk about that, because you do need to throw in the products too, because guess what? Every time you sign up a distributor and help them get 2 customers, you make $100. So it's no good if you sign up 20 distributors and none of them get fast started, you don't get any bonuses. So you always want to make sure that you're signing up those customers so that you can help those people get their fast starts if needed, and get them started on their business with a bang. So I always am making sure I'm signing customers as well, but distributors is the most important thing for me right now that I'm focusing on, but I am going to start continue to post about the products. We talked a little bit about charting. We talked about how you can go really quickly from Ruby to Emerald, especially with the new charts, stacking those people under those 3 original people for Ruby. We talked a little bit about the different kits that you can get with your whenever you're joining. But then there's also, one second, let me see if I can get this to go to the next thing. I don't know if it'll let me. Well, okay, I don't think it'll let me, but if you go to your website and you click join and then start now, and then you go back to that page I showed you where you can see the different kits you can get, there's a spot down at the bottom, and you can maybe have a distributor that you know that's signing up send this to you, because you have to enter your info to see this, but it says one-time savings. It's part number 6. And where it's the one-time savings is where they can do booster packs. These are huge, guys, especially if you're trying to promote and get that volume really quickly. There's a booster pack. The biggest one is 400 group volume. So guess what? That right there is somebody that joins and their box is already done if they can get that booster. With there being $20 kits right now, what I love is telling people that it's still $100 to get started, and whenever they still say like, yes, I'm ready to go, I'm like, okay, perfect. And actually, I just got a coupon for you to join for $20. So now we can go ahead and use the other $80 to get you an extra product or 2 on top of your business builder kit. And now they can't say they don't have that because they just told me they were ready to join for $99. So now we're going to get that $80 for the product. We're going to get you started with some more results, because it really is the best thing for them, because people get their kits and then what do they say? I don't have any products to post about, right? So you're giving them an opportunity to get a heck of a lot of products for $20, and now for $100, they get like not only that sample pack, they also get whatever product that they choose for that $80, and you can get so much stuff and make your money back with samples. So this is literally the best thing ever, and now you have that volume to follow that promotion that you're working for this month. So that's, and the booster packs, obviously really checking those out and making sure that you are aware of what the volume is for those, that they are there to tell your new distributor about them. It's always a no if you don't ask. They're going to join anyway. So worst case scenario, they say no to the booster pack and still join. So you can't lose, but you might as well ask. And then another thing, whenever you're promoting, I know a lot of people are really new, so I just want to make sure that everybody is aware that communication is key, guys. Like, you have to make sure you're communicating with your team. So if somebody on your team signs a distributor, they should be texting you and saying, hey, I just signed a distributor, I'm placing it here. Or if they're like brand new and they're like, I don't even know where to put this person, they message you and say, where should I put this person? What do you think? Where is the best move for this? You should have their charts. They should have their charts, and you should be making sure that they match every day. Hey, I signed up a 30 BV and I moved it to this person. So then you're like, oh, good. Okay, erase that and add 30 to that box. And now that person's done. Let's highlight that one. That's what this month should look like if you're working for a promotion. Have your charts out. Have your people communicating with not only you, but anybody that their chart affects. So maybe you and 2 other people, because maybe they're going Ruby and you're going Diamond, and they have to communicate with other people as well. So communication is huge, staying connected with your team and your leaders. If you're going for a higher rank, and I won't name what that is because they're all important, but just like a higher rank in general, you should have that layered leadership too, which may look a little different because you don't have executives anymore, but making sure that you're at least connecting with your top people and letting them kind of trickle that down. And did you have anything that you wanted to say too?
The only thing I'd add, I don't think I said this earlier, but I'm a green-red, very analytical, very number-based. And one of the things that's the strength that I had because of that, but I think is really important for promotions, is giving people at every level of the promotion very specific goals. I mean, just to piggyback off what you just said, very specific goals. So what I mean by that is, say, to Mary, who needs to be Ruby, you're doing this box by Thursday, and I usually break it down to the amount of BV by day, because that tends to be a little bit less scary. So I'm like, it's 50 BV a day or whatever it is. And then you move them on once there's another thing. And so they're, lean on your greens and reds and maybe to coordinate that, because we're really good at like seeing everything. But I think it's very, very important to be not just communicating as things come in, but communicating about goals and breaking it down. So usually what we'll do is we'll like split assigned boxes on a leg. Mary's working on this leg on this Ruby, Laura's working on the second leg, and maybe I'm working on the third. And we all have kind of time deadlines. And that just really helps because people generally, we all thrive under direction and goals. If we don't know where we're headed, it's hard, even on those little micro levels. So that would be the only other thing I would add, Morgan, is if you're looking to go diamond, you really need to have that team effort of who's doing which box, by what time, and just it really helps people move with more confidence what they have to do.
Yes, and breaking it down like that makes it sound so much more simple and less like overwhelming and complicated, which I love. Okay, so the next thing I just wanted to talk about really fast, and I actually made a live video about this earlier on my team page, so I'll just reiterate this, but you can always go back and look at that for a little bit more information. And it's like a little bit longer. So basically, like, tips on signing up distributors, and I'll let Mira share hers too, because obviously she's a rock star distributor enroller too, and she uses very different ways. Like, we were talking a little bit about this earlier, so I definitely want to give her plenty of time to talk about hers. So things that I do already is using Insta stories and polls. That's why I had so many people sign up today, was from a poll that I did last night. And then Insta stories that I did today. I had a lot of people like message me first, contact me. I did a post on Instagram today, and it was on Facebook too, but I said, text opportunity to me or DM me the word opportunity. And I had 4 people do that in about 5 minutes. And so that was really something that helped me still to deal with people. I have another guy that's joining on Friday that messaged me that word. And that was just my story is what I shared. And then I said, text me opportunity. I would love to show you how to make, to join for $20 and make $3,000 in the next 90 days. And that's the bonus that we have, the guarantee. So I share my story every day, whether it's a post or an Insta story or both. Right now, I'm trying to get a lot of distributors, so it's both. Going live with somebody is something that I want to start doing, and something that Mira is going to talk about more, talking about going live and things like that. Messaging, obviously, if you see somebody whose profile really sticks out to you, message that person. Ask them, if they would be interested. I came up with a message today that pretty much just said, and you can word this however to make it sound like you, but I just said, hey, this is super random, but I was literally just thinking about, people that it would be a dream to work with. And I immediately thought about you because blank. And, this is really out of my comfort zone, but would you be open to more information? And they were like, yes, like, we would love that. Like, I would love to be open to, to hear more about it. And by saying that, instead of saying, are you interested? Say something like, have you ever thought about that? Or would you be open to more information? Because they'll always be open to it. They don't know if they're interested yet because they don't really know what it is because you're the one who approached them. So leaving it open-ended like that has helped. I asked a lot of my new distributors. I texted some of the leaders on our team today and told them to do this, but I gave that type of a message to a lot of my new distributors and told them to get me, to send this to 10 people. And their goal was to get me in a group text with 3 of them. And if I could get the people in a group text with me, then I could seal the deal with their 3 potential distributors, because it's another person just verifying that for them. They're talking to you, but they hear 2 people saying the same thing about how amazing this company is. They're a lot more likely to join. Now that person's boxed in for Ruby and you're boxed in for whatever promotion you're going for. So it's super helpful. So I worked on that with a lot of them. They've all got a lot of potentials. And then just talking about what It Works is paying for. And it doesn't have to be the big house and the fancy car, guys. It's the grocery money. It's the gas money. It's the cell phone bill. It's, being able to take your kids out to dinner or take them cupcakes for lunch on their birthday, at school or whatever it is. And just having that extra little bit of money that people can use that would help them breathe. And that's what people join for. Most people don't join for, a Mercedes-Benz or $20,000 a month. A lot of them join for what we join for, which is just money for school, gas money, grocery money, money to be at home with your son, money to just kind of make ends meet so that you can, not foreclose on your home. So make sure that you're sharing those things, guys, big, small, and all in between.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, I build largely on Facebook. well, I build it exclusively on Facebook for social media. I don't use Instagram. And that's worked for me. I mean, my core demographic that I track for distributors and customers are between 35 and 55. And I'm not saying people that age are on Instagram, but Facebook just tends to be, it's more personal. So it just tends to work better for that demographic. And there's more likelihood that they're going to be on Facebook than IG, especially once you get into the 40s and 50s. But I use lives like crazy and tell my story consistently. But just to get a little bit more specific around that, I started this fall. Well, let me back up. So when I first started, I was really scared about, obviously I don't think we even have lives, and I was really scared about sharing where we were financially because I'd been hiding it for a long time. I was really nervous about it. So I did a lot of messaging, but I remember you guys talk about, again, I had to promote quickly because we needed the money so bad. And of course I was very drawn to the fast start bonuses. So just by messaging alone, really from the month one, I was recruiting 5 to 10 distributors a month just on messaging, no stories, but being super consistent and really, like Morgan was saying, using that very light message. And because I had credibility, I was open-ended, and I was consistent and persistent, but not pushy. It was very successful just to message. I wasn't posting at all. And I think, if you can find one way that works for you, and it's working for you, double down on it and push. Okay, think bigger numbers. So that's how I built it originally, was just messaging, and I was really posting about products more than anything because I was scared, honestly, to talk about our finances. I got out of that fear once I was, a year into the business, but I started about 18 months into my business doing more attraction marketing. So I was doing a lot of telling my story on my timeline on Facebook, just through posts at that point. And also beyond just the It Works story posts, I was very thoughtful about who I was trying to recruit. And this is, again, in my second year, I was like deeper and then more mature in terms of strategy. So I knew the people that I was most likely to recruit were people that were like me. If somebody is 23, 25 years old and worried about student loans, they're going to look to Morgan. If somebody is 45 and worried about paying for their kids' student loans, or, for a lot of people come to me, they're worried about just making ends meet with a big mortgage and college coming up for their kids, and their kids' expenses for camp and all that stuff. I've got people that come in their late 50s because they're worried about retirement. These are things that I can relate to as somebody that is at my age and also been in like a corporate environment, and it just all connects. So I started deliberately mentioning my age and mentioning pieces of my story that I knew would be relatable. So attraction marketing isn't just about your It Works posts, it's about your non-It Works posts. And for somebody in their 20s, it may be, that you're also like a makeup expert, or you're going out with your friends and just creating FOMO around your life overall. For me, it's going to be, I don't have to worry about money. I can pay for anything for my son. I can treat myself at the spa. I can have a girls' night, despite like crazy life stuff. This is the kind of thing that will relate to my audience. So I started really consciously putting my non-It Works posts in together with the It Works post to make the lifestyle feel so attractive. And that is attraction marketing. Okay, being very cognizant. Every single post I put up is very deliberative, and I'm generally distributor first, so it's all usually around kind of the lifestyle of the business, but I do love many of the products, so those integrate in. I totally agree with what Morgan said. I'll never go a week without 2 or 3 product posts, because you don't want to seem like you're only marketing the business too. Like, we're a product company. It seems cheesy a little bit in my mind to spend a month, like you're only talking about the business side. You've got to bring into the core piece of what we're actually doing, which is the products. So the last thing I'll add is just really around the live. So what I started this summer, just getting a lot more confident in my lives, going live 2 or 3 times, and kind of telling my story. And then I kind of hit a wall. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So what I decided to do, which might help some of you guys, is every 2 to 3 days I'll go live. I didn't do that around the holidays, but I did it for several months before that. And I call them kind of branded lives. So I think about what's a theme I can talk about. Usually again, business focused. It could be product focused. So to give you an example, I worked full time at a really serious job until June of 2018. So after I went triple into over 3 years, I was working full time, single mom, kid, etc. So I would create a theme for that live that I was going to do. An example would be how I turn this into a 6-figure income while working full time. And I would do like a 5-minute live just on that topic, knowing that I was connecting to people in my core demographic that were working full time, right? Morgan's may be something like how I eliminated college debt in X months through the, just pick up pieces of your story that is going to reach your demographic. And every 2 or 3 days, I do them with a different theme. Another one would be like, loving network marketing in your 40s. Think about things that are going to connect back to your audience. So those are kind of the things that I started doing. And what I would do is I'd create like an image that let's say I dropped it at lunch. I'd say I'm going live at 4 o'clock to talk about working full time while making building a 6-figure business, something like that. And I put it in my Facebook story, I put it on my timeline, and then I do the live at 4. And I've got to tell you, like every live I would do, I would sign 2 or 3 distributors just from those lives. And obviously that's something I'm going to start again. I'm sick, so I'm trying to get my voice back, and then I'll start doing it again. Now that we're post-conference. And it was just like Morgan was saying earlier, it was just like I would do a live and I have two or three people inbox me. I'm ready to sign up many times without me even contacting them. So that was a really good, helpful strategy for me, and to really embrace lives and give them a little bit of life and focus in a way that I think resonated, because there was a real purpose to every live I did.
I love those tips. I just came up with 8 different titles for my for my lives, because you want it to be something that's catchy, and you want it to be something that, like you said, will get people to watch it, that are like, oh, if I titled one that was how I paid cash for my wedding, people would be like, what?
Perfect.
That's yeah, I'm so excited, because I already told my team, I was like, I'm gonna start doing more Facebook Lives. Ever since the panel at conference, I was so inspired by that. And I'm like, that's something that's so easy, that doesn't take a lot of time. I think a lot of times people, try to switch back and forth to try starting doing Facebook groups. That is something that takes a lot of time and effort and energy if you're going to do that. But with me working mostly Instagram, Facebook Lives are something easy that I can do to get those people from Facebook without spending a ton of time trying to grow that, you can just start doing them. So I'm super excited. Is there anything else that you wanted to share? I don't want to cut you off if there was something else you wanted to talk about.
No, I just, I was talking to Mary Beth again earlier today about different goals and different things going on right now. And she said something that I thought was so on point. I just want to say to all of you guys, every single person you might have in your head that you're going for Emerald or you're going for Diamond, I want you to push that rank up. This is boom season. We've never had a season like this in my 4 years. Just trust me. Just listen to me. If you're going for Ruby, we're going for Emerald. If you're going for Emerald, you're going for Diamond. You push it one ahead, and you just take out that chart and start filling it in. The other rank will happen the last 4 days, 5 days a month. You close out the rank before that. But just do not limit yourself in what you can do in the next 3 to 5 months. That's all I gotta say.
I love that. I just got chills and imagine myself going Diamond 2.0. What the heck, dude? This is exciting. Okay, well, thank you so much for hopping on here. Thank you for giving us your time, and this was so good, and it's recorded, so I'll share the recording in our team page and all that good stuff, and I can give you the link too. I can just post it in our chat.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much for hopping on here. I'm so proud of y'all. This is going to be an amazing month. I can already tell our volume is already higher than ever. Our enrollments are already higher than ever. Start speaking life over yourself. Make sure your mindset is where it needs to be. Get in personal development, and let's freaking kill this month, because why not? This is the best place to be. It's the right place, right time, and I'm so pumped. So y'all have a great rest of your night. Bye, guys.